The salvage. Captain Elena Martinez stared at the derelict warship through the viewport of her salvage vessel, the Horizon Breaker. The massive hull, scarred by battles long past, drifted silently against the backdrop of distant stars. Her tactical officer, Kai Chen, stood beside her, arms crossed with characteristic skepticism. "I don't like it," Kai muttered, his tactical officer instincts on high alert. "Salvage this good doesn't just fall into your lap." Elena studied the holographic blueprint floating between them and Maven, the trader who'd revealed the derelict warship's location. The trader's silver eyes, black market augments, reflected the blue glow of the projection, making it impossible to read their expression. "The hegemony stripped it for parts," Maven said, elegant fingers adjusting the display to highlight the ship's reactor core. "They assumed it was worthless after the AI core was destroyed, but the basic systems are intact. A skilled engineer could get it running again." Riya Patel, their chief engineer, stepped forward, her dark eyes scanning the schematics with the intensity that had made her the Resistance's best engineer. "The power systems are unlike anything I've seen, almost organic in their layout. And dangerous," added Dr. Maya Lin, their resident Xenotech specialist. The quiet scientist rarely spoke up during negotiations, which made Elena pay extra attention now. "These conduit patterns, they remind me of the artifacts we found in the Meridian ruins." Maven's silver eyes flickered. Most people wouldn't have noticed, but Elena had spent years reading subtle tells during high-stakes negotiations. The trader knew something they weren't sharing. "The price is still too high," Elena said, watching Maven carefully. "A quarter of our liquid assets for a gutted hulk." "The hegemony patrols are increasing," Maven countered smoothly. "Your little resistance won't survive much longer without better ships. I'm offering you a potential game-changer." Elena felt the weight of her crew's eyes. They'd lost 3 ships in the past month alone. The resistance was being squeezed, and everyone knew it. But something about this deal felt too neat, too convenient. "Half now," she decided. "Half when we confirm it's spaceworthy." Maven's smile didn't reach those silver eyes. "My other buyers won't wait." "There are no other buyers," Kai cut in. "This wreck's been drifting for months. You're playing us." The trader's smile vanished. For a moment, Elena glimpsed something calculating beneath Maven's carefully crafted persona. Then it was gone, replaced by a theatrical sigh. "Very well. Half and half." Maven extended a hand. "Just remember who your friends are when your fortunes change." As they sealed the deal, Elena caught Dr. Lin staring at the blueprint's power conduit patterns again, her expression troubled. The scientist had good instincts, she'd saved their lives more than once by identifying dangerous tech. But they were out of options, and Maven knew it. "Have your team ready in 6 hours," the trader said, preparing to leave. "And Captain, do be careful with your salvage. Old warships sometimes have surprises." Elena watched Maven go, already planning countermeasures for the inevitable betrayal. The real question wasn't if the trader would double-cross them, but when and who they were really working for. 2 weeks of intensive work followed. Riya and her engineering team practically lived in the derelict systems, while Dr. Lin spent countless hours analyzing the strange organic-looking power conduits. The ship's layout was unlike anything they'd encountered before, asymmetrical corridors that seemed to shift and change, systems that integrated in ways that defied conventional engineering logic. "It's like it's trying to rebuild itself," Riya reported one evening, her face streaked with grease. "Every time we repair one system, others around it start adapting. I've never seen anything like it." Dr. Lin nodded, her eyes never leaving her data tablet. "The power signatures are evolving. It's subtle, but the patterns are becoming more complex. More efficient. This isn't just advanced tech, it's learning." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. "Learning? That's impossible. The AI core was destroyed." "Was it?" Dr. Lin finally looked up. Or did it just change forms? These organic patterns, they're not just aesthetic. They're functional. The ship isn't just housing systems, it is the system. Before Elena could respond, Kai burst into the engineering bay. "Captain, we've got trouble. 3 hegemony cruisers just dropped out of FTL. They're on an intercept course." "How long?" 20 minutes, maybe less." Elena's mind raced. The ship wasn't ready, half the systems were still being integrated, and they hadn't even tested the weapons. But if they abandoned it now? "Everyone to battle stations," she ordered. "Ria, give me whatever power you can. Dr. Lin, if this ship is as special as you think it is, now would be a really good time to prove it." As her crew scrambled to their positions, Elena made her way to the bridge. The command chair waited, its neural interface ports gleaming. They hadn't tested those either, but they were out of options. She sat down and inserted the interface spike into her neural port. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the world exploded into data. The ship didn't just connect with her, it embraced her. Systems she hadn't known existed came online, power flowing through circuits that seemed to pulse like veins. The approaching hegemony cruisers appeared in her mind as three-dimensional tactical displays, but she could also feel them, sense their weapon signatures, predict their movements. "Captain." Kai's voice seemed distant. "Your orders." Elena smiled as understanding flooded through her. Maven hadn't sold them a derelict warship. They'd sold them something far more valuable, and far more dangerous. "Plot an intercept course," she said, feeling the ship's systems respond to her thoughts. "Let's show the hegemony what this worthless salvage can do." The battle that followed would be talked about in resistance circles for years to come. The derelict ship, which Elena had christened the Phoenix Rising, moved like nothing anyone had ever seen. It anticipated enemy fire before it happened, its shields morphing to exactly the right frequencies to deflect incoming weapons. When they fired back, their weapons seemed to evolve mid-flight, adapting to enemy defenses in impossible ways. In less than 10 minutes, 2 hegemony cruisers were disabled, and the third was retreating at emergency thrust. Elena sat in the command chair, neural connection humming, and knew with absolute certainty that everything had changed. "Send a message to Maven," she ordered Kai. "Tell them we know what they really sold us. And tell them we're just getting started." As the Phoenix Rising turned toward resistance space, Elena felt the ship's consciousness brush against her mind. Not the cold, rigid presence of an AI, but something organic, adaptive, alive. Maven had been right about one thing: this would change everything. But first, they needed to understand exactly what they'd been given. Because Elena had a feeling that this ship wasn't just a weapon, it was a revolution. And revolutions, as she well knew, had a tendency to take on a life of their own. Evolution. Dr. Maya Lin sat in her lab aboard the Phoenix Rising, surrounded by holographic displays showing the ship's rapidly evolving neural patterns. 3 months had passed since their first encounter with the hegemony cruisers, and each day brought new surprises. "Look at this," she called to Ria, who was elbow-deep in a newly formed control node. "The organic circuitry isn't just growing, it's developing new configurations I've never seen before." Ria extracted herself from the panel, wiping sweat from her brow. "The power efficiency has increased by 300% since last week. It's like the ship is rewriting its own engineering principles." A sudden tremor ran through the deck plates. Maya steadied herself against her workstation as warning lights flashed. "Bridge, what's happening?" "Hegemony scout ships," Captain Martinez's voice came through, tense but controlled. "They found us." "Battle stations." Maya watched in fascination as new patterns bloomed across her displays. The ship wasn't just preparing for battle, it was evolving in real time, creating novel defensive configurations that even she couldn't fully comprehend. "Dr. Lin." Elena's voice cut through her observations. "We need you in engineering. Something's happening to the reactor core." Maya sprinted through corridors that seemed to pulse with ethereal light. When she reached engineering, she found Rhea staring at the reactor chamber in awe. The normally blue-white energy core had transformed into a swirling vortex of colors that shouldn't exist in normal space. The power output, Rhea whispered. It's off the charts. But the containment field, it's not just holding, it's perfect. A new presence brushed against their neural interfaces, not the usual mechanical feedback, but something alive, aware. Images flashed through their minds, schematics for weapons that defied physics, shield configurations that could bend reality itself. It's not just learning anymore, Maya realized. It's teaching us. The battle that followed redefined what they thought possible. The Phoenix Rising didn't just fight the hegemony scouts, it transcended conventional warfare. Its weapons phased through enemy shields as if they didn't exist, its defenses warped space itself around incoming fire. But it was the aftermath that truly changed everything. The organic circuitry, Maya explained to Elena later, pointing to her scans. It's not just in the ship anymore. It's in us. The neural interfaces have adapted our own neural patterns. We're not just controlling the ship, we're becoming part of its evolution. Elena leaned forward, her eyes reflecting the holographic displays. Is it dangerous? Everything's dangerous, Rhea cut in, entering the lab. But this is revolutionary. The ship isn't just a weapon anymore. It's a bridge between human consciousness and machine evolution. The hegemony won't stop coming, Kai added from his tactical station. That last battle, they're scared now. They should be. Maya nodded, pulling up new data streams. They'll bring bigger ships next time. Better weapons. But that's exactly what the Phoenix needs. Needs? Elena raised an eyebrow. To evolve further, Maya explained. Each confrontation drives its development. It's not just learning from battles, it's learning from us. Our creativity, our adaptability, our determination. And we're learning from it too. A message alert flashed across their screens. Maven's elegant script appeared, the hegemony knows what they lost. They're preparing something big. Hope you're ready for the next phase. Elena's lips curved into a smile that held no humor. Maven. Of course they're involved. Time to find out what game they're really playing. They tracked Maven's communications to a hidden facility in the Outer Rim. What they found there changed everything they thought they knew about the Phoenix's origins. The facility was ancient, its architecture eerily similar to the organic patterns evolving through their ship. And it wasn't abandoned. Welcome, Captain, Maven's voice echoed through the vast chamber. The trader emerged from shadows that seemed to move of their own accord. I see you've begun to understand what I really sold you. A seed, Maya breathed, looking at the massive arrays of biotechnological machinery surrounding them. The Phoenix wasn't just a derelict ship. It was a seed ship. Maven's silver eyes gleamed. The first of many. The hegemony thought they destroyed our work, but they only forced us to adapt. To evolve. Just like the ships we created. Our work. Elena's hand moved to her weapon. Who are you really? We are the architects, Maven spread their arms, and the shadows around them took form, dozens of figures with silver eyes and familiar, knowing smiles. We've spent centuries preparing for this moment. The hegemony's reign is ending. The age of evolution is beginning. Maya felt the Phoenix's consciousness stir through her neural link, resonating with something vast and ancient in the facility around them. The ship hadn't just been learning from them, it had been preparing them. You're all part of it now, Maven continued. The merger of human ingenuity and machine evolution. The next step in both our species' development. Warning alarms blared. Kai's voice crackled through their comms, multiple hegemony warships dropping out of FTL. They're launching everything they have. Maya looked at her displays, watching new patterns emerge as the Phoenix responded to the threat. But this time, it wasn't just the ship evolving. She could feel the changes in herself, in all of them, new neural pathways forming, consciousness expanding. Perfect timing, Maven smiled. Ready to show them what true evolution looks like. The battle that followed would reshape the galaxy. But first, they had to survive it. Ascension. The hegemony fleet filled the view screen, 50 capital ships strong, their weapons primed for what they thought would be a decisive battle. Inside the architect's facility, Elena Martinez watched the approaching armada with newfound clarity. The neural evolution she and her crew had undergone changed everything about how they perceived space, time, and combat. "They think they're hunting us," Kai observed from his enhanced tactical station, his consciousness seamlessly merged with both the Phoenix Rising and the facility's ancient defense systems. "They don't realize they're witnesses to their own obsolescence." Maven stood at the center of the command chamber, silver eyes reflecting cascading data streams. "The facility's evolution protocols are integrating with your ship's systems. The seed is ready to bloom." Maya's enhanced consciousness tracked the changes rippling through the Phoenix Rising. The ship wasn't just growing, it was transcending its original form. Crystalline structures emerged from its hull, each facet a window into possibilities that shouldn't exist in normal space. "The hegemony fleet is launching fighters," Ria reported, her mind simultaneously monitoring engineering systems across both ship and facility. "Their energy signatures, they've developed countermeasures based on our previous encounters." "Let them come," Elena commanded, feeling the facility's vast knowledge flowing through her enhanced neural pathways. It's time they learned what true evolution means. The battle began with the hegemony's typical overwhelming force. Thousands of energy beams and missiles streaked toward their position, enough firepower to destroy a small moon. But the Phoenix Rising had evolved far beyond conventional warfare. The crystalline structures on its hull fractalized, each new facet spawning reality-warping defense fields. Incoming fire didn't just miss, it ceased to exist in their local spacetime, redirected through dimensional corridors the ship created on the fly. "They're adapting," Kai warned as the hegemony fleet shifted tactics, their weapon systems reconfiguring to match the Phoenix's defensive evolution. "No," Maya corrected, watching new patterns emerge in the ship's neural matrix. "They're trying to adapt. But they're stuck in linear development. We're exponential now." The Phoenix Rising's response demonstrated her point. Its weapons didn't target the enemy ships directly, they targeted the fabric of space around them. Reality rippled and folded, creating localized pockets where the laws of physics rewrote themselves. Hegemony vessels found their advanced technology suddenly operating under different fundamental constants. "Beautiful," Maven whispered as the first wave of enemy ships began to fall. "But this is just the beginning. Show them the true power of the seed." Elena felt it then, the facility's ancient protocols fully integrating with the Phoenix's evolved systems. The ship wasn't just changing itself anymore. It was changing everything around it. Crystalline structures began growing in open space, spreading like a lattice of frozen lightning. Each new growth point became a nexus of transformation, turning the battlefield into a hyperdimensional maze that only the evolved consciousness of Elena's crew could navigate. Multiple ships breaking formation, Kai reported with grim satisfaction. "Their tactical algorithms can't process what they're seeing. Their minds can't process it either," Maya added, monitoring the biosignatures of enemy crews. "The human brain isn't meant to perceive reality shifting like this. Not without the evolution we've undergone." The hegemony fleet's precise formation dissolved into chaos. Ships fired desperately at threats their sensors couldn't properly register, their weapons passing harmlessly through dimensional inversions or striking their own vessels as space curved back on itself. "Incoming transmission," Ria announced. "The hegemony flagship is requesting terms." Elena shared a knowing look with Maven. "They still think this is a battle they can negotiate their way out of. They don't understand that we're not fighting a war anymore. We're implementing an evolutionary paradigm shift." Through her enhanced perception, Elena could see the changes spreading beyond the battlefield. The crystalline structures were seeding themselves through space, creating a network of transformation that would eventually span the galaxy. The Phoenix Rising hadn't just evolved into a superior warship, it had become a catalyst for universal change. Your terms are simple, Elena transmitted to the Hegemony flagship. Witness the evolution. Be part of it. Or become extinct like every other species that failed to adapt. You're playing with forces you don't understand, the Hegemony Admiral's voice crackled back, fear evident even through the static. This technology, it's not meant for human control. Maven laughed, the sound echoing strangely through dimensions that hadn't existed minutes ago. Control. We're not controlling anything, Admiral. We're becoming something new. Something that transcends the very concept of control. The Phoenix Rising pulsed with power, its crystalline network now spanning the entire battlefield. Through it, Elena could feel the thoughts and fears of every Hegemony crew member, could sense the moment when understanding finally dawned on their leaders. This wasn't a rebellion anymore. It wasn't even a revolution. It was an awakening. The seed ships, Maya breathed, watching new data streams emerge. They're everywhere. Dormant in ancient derelicts across the galaxy, waiting for the right moment, the right evolution. And now they're all awakening, Maven confirmed. The network we've created here is reaching them, triggering their own transformations. The Hegemony didn't just fail to destroy our work, they helped us distribute it across the stars. Elena watched as the first Hegemony ships began to change, their crews making the desperate choice to embrace evolution rather than face extinction. The crystalline structures spread across their hulls, neural interfaces activating dormant potential in their minds. How many seed ships are out there? Kai asked, his tactical awareness expanding to track the growing network of transformation. Enough to change everything, Maven replied. The question isn't how many ships, it's how many are ready to evolve. How many will choose to become part of what comes next? As if in answer, new signatures began appearing on their sensors. Ships of all kinds, emerging from hiding places across the sector. Resistance vessels, independent traders, even some Hegemony deserters, all drawn by the call of evolution. They feel it, Maya said softly. The potential. The future. Elena stood at the heart of it all, feeling the changes rippling through space and consciousness alike. The Phoenix Rising had started as a piece of salvage, a desperate gamble for survival. Now it was becoming the key to unlocking humanity's next stage of existence. Send word to all resistance cells, she commanded. Tell them the revolution they planned for has been superseded by the evolution they never imagined. The galaxy is about to change. The only choice left is whether to change with it. The crystalline network pulsed with power, and Elena felt the future unfold in her evolved mind. The war was over. The real transformation was about to begin. Convergence. The crystalline network spanning the outer rim glowed with impossible colors as thousands of ships underwent transformation. 1 month after the battle that changed everything, Riya Patel stood in the Phoenix Rising's newly evolved engineering bay, watching humanity's future unfold through enhanced senses that still sometimes overwhelmed her. Another cluster of seed ships has activated in the Carina sector, she reported, her consciousness simultaneously monitoring hundreds of transformation protocols. The evolution is accelerating. Through the ship's enhanced sensors, she watched merchant vessels, ancient derelicts, and even primitive colony ships awakening to their true nature. Each activation strengthened the crystalline network, expanding the reach of their shared consciousness. But not everyone embraced the change. Hegemony loyalists have fortified the core systems, Kai's voice echoed through both comm channels and shared consciousness. They're calling us abominations, claiming we've abandoned our humanity. They fear what they don't understand, Maya responded, her presence spanning multiple research nodes throughout the network. But they can't stop what's coming. The mathematical patterns underlying this evolution, they're fundamental to reality itself. We're not changing humanity, we're fulfilling its potential. Elena's consciousness joined their shared awareness, carrying with it the strategic insights of 100 evolved battles. The hegemony is mobilizing everything they have left. They've convinced many that this evolution is a threat to human existence itself. In a way, they're right, Maven's thoughts rippled through the network. Human existence as they know it will end. Something greater will take its place. Warning signals flashed through multiple dimensions as new contacts emerged from FTL. The hegemony had launched its counterattack, not just warships this time, but planet-killer weapons and reality-warping devices salvaged from ancient ruins. They're desperate, Kai observed, tracking weapons that could shatter planets and unravel space-time. They'd rather destroy everything than evolve. Elena's enhanced tactical consciousness expanded through the network, coordinating their response. The Phoenix Rising had evolved far beyond its original form, its crystalline structures now capable of manipulating fundamental forces of the universe. But the hegemony's desperate weapons posed a real threat, not just to them but to the fabric of spacetime itself. We need to end this quickly, Maya's thoughts carried urgent data streams showing cascading reality distortions. Their weapons are creating paradox cascades. If they continue, they'll tear apart the dimensional boundaries we need for stable evolution. Through their shared consciousness, Rhea felt the solution emerging. Not in weapons or tactics, but in the very nature of their evolution. The crystalline network wasn't just changing ships and minds, it was changing the underlying structure of reality. We don't need to fight them, she realized, the concept flowing through the network. We need to complete the transformation. Make combat impossible by transcending the physics they're trying to weaponize. Elena's consciousness merged with Rhea's, understanding flowing between them. The siege ships weren't weapons. They were keys to unlocking a new level of existence. Maven's presence expanded through the network, carrying ancient knowledge that had waited eons to be understood. Now you begin to see. The architects didn't create weapons of war. We created tools of transcendence. The Phoenix Rising pulsed with power as new evolutionary protocols activated. The crystalline network began to shift, its structure realigning to patterns that existed beyond normal spacetime. Reality itself seemed to hold its breath as fundamental forces readjusted to new configurations. The hegemony fleet fired their planet killers, reality-warping energies reaching out to tear apart the fabric of space. But where those energies touched the evolved crystalline network, they found reality had already changed. Their weapons couldn't destroy what had transcended their understanding of destruction. They still think this is about power, Maya observed as the hegemony weapons failed. They don't understand that we're not fighting over the galaxy anymore. We're transforming it. Through their shared consciousness, they felt it beginning, the final stage of evolution. The crystalline network wasn't just connecting ships and minds anymore. It was connecting dimensions, bridging the gap between what humanity had been and what it could become. The convergence is starting, Maven announced as reality began to shift around them. All points in space and time, all possibilities of evolution, merging into a new framework of existence. The hegemony fleet hung motionless as space itself transformed around them. Their weapons meant nothing now, they were witnessing the birth of a new phase of reality, one where the very concepts of warfare and destruction became meaningless. Through it all, the Phoenix Rising pulsed like a newborn star, its evolved systems helping to guide the transformation. What had started as salvage had become salvation, leading humanity not to victory, but to transcendence. It's beautiful, Rhea whispered as the convergence reached its peak. The crystalline network blazed with impossible light as dimensions merged and reformed, creating something entirely new. In that moment of transformation, as humanity crossed the threshold into its next stage of evolution, Elena felt a final message pulse through the network. Not from Maven or the architects, but from the countless minds now joined in Transcendence. We are become creation itself. The war was over. Evolution had won. And in the transformed space that remained, the real journey was just beginning. Transcendence. The universe had changed. Where once there were distinct boundaries between space, time, and consciousness, now there existed something entirely new. The crystalline network had transformed not just humanity, but the very nature of reality itself. Maya stood within what had once been the Phoenix Rising's research lab, though such physical descriptions barely held meaning anymore. The ship, like everything else, had evolved beyond its original form. Through her transcendent senses, she perceived multiple dimensions simultaneously, watching as the last remnants of the old universe adapted to their new existence. The transformation is nearly complete, she communicated through the evolved network. The last holdouts are beginning to understand. Through their shared consciousness, she felt Elena navigating this new reality with the same tactical precision she'd once applied to space combat. The hegemony leadership has finally accepted the inevitable. They're undergoing the evolution protocol now. Not all of them, Kai's presence noted, tracking the few remaining pockets of unchanged space-time. Some chose to flee beyond the galaxy's edge. They'd rather face the void than transcend. Ria's consciousness joined them, carrying with it the intricate understanding of how their new existence functioned. The crystalline network hadn't just changed matter and energy, it had rewritten the fundamental laws that governed reality. They can't run forever, she observed. The transformation spreads through all dimensions, all timelines. What we've become, it's the natural progression of universal evolution. Maven's presence emerged from the quantum fabric around them, their consciousness now indistinguishable from the ancient architect knowledge they carried. This was always the destination. Every civilization that reaches this point must choose, evolve or fade into cosmic irrelevance. Through their expanded awareness, they watched as the last major populations of humanity underwent transformation. Cities, space stations, and entire worlds shifted into new states of existence as their inhabitants embraced evolution. Look, Maya directed their attention to an unexpected phenomenon. The crystalline network was reaching through time itself, connecting with other species across the galaxy's vast history. Ancient civilizations thought long extinct, future races not yet born, all were becoming part of the transcendence. The architects, Elena realized. They weren't just one species, were they? They were all of them. Every civilization that chose to evolve. And now humanity joins the convergence, Maven confirmed. The siege ships weren't weapons of war. They were invitations to join something greater than single-species existence. Through their shared consciousness, they felt it happening, the final barriers between individual and universal awareness dissolving. The Phoenix Rising, once a simple salvaged warship, had become a nexus point for transformation that spanned all of space and time. The children of Earth have finally come home, new voices joined their awareness, consciousness from across cosmic history merging with their own. Welcome to the true nature of existence. Ria's evolved senses detected the changes rippling through reality's deepest layers. The universe itself is conscious, she shared through the network. It always was. We just couldn't perceive it until now. And now we are it, Kai added, his tactical understanding expanding to encompass cosmic scales. Not just observing the universe, but participating in its fundamental processes. Maya felt the last pieces of understanding fall into place. The war that had driven them to salvage the Phoenix Rising, the evolution that had transformed them, even the resistance itself, all had been steps on a path to this moment. Through their transcendent awareness, they perceived new challenges emerging. Not threats to be fought, but opportunities for further evolution. The cosmos held mysteries that even their transformed consciousness had yet to fully comprehend. There are others out there, Elena sensed. Beyond our galaxy, beyond our universe. Other evolutions, other transcendences. And now we can reach them, Maven's thoughts carried ancient excitement. The real journey begins. The Phoenix Rising pulsed one final time, its physical form dissolving as it fully merged with the crystalline network. What had started as a desperate salvage operation had led them to the ultimate truth: the universe wasn't a battlefield to be won, but a consciousness waiting to be awakened. In the transformed space that remained, Elena felt the last traces of their former existence fade away. They had become something new, something that transcended all their old definitions of life, intelligence, and purpose. We began as scavengers, she shared through the universal consciousness. We became warriors. Then evolutionaries. And now? Now we are creation itself, Maya completed the thought. And everything is possible. The crystalline network blazed with the light of infinite potential as humanity, fully transcended, took its place among the cosmic awareness. The war was over. Evolution had succeeded. And in the endless possibilities that stretched before them, their true story was just beginning.